This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Mission to
Guys, it's week 2 in Halloween season, and our lining up of Halloween is going to be way off. I think 2 of the episodes are going to be after Halloween, but that's okay because who cares? Am I
Doesn't
right?
matter. We're making this up as we go.
We're doing 4
in December, everybody.
If we don't do 4, then we can't do the 4 that I had planned to do.
Just keep checking the website. You might see a new one.
That's right. And this one was actually a horror film. Good job, Danny.
It was. Thank you. Yeah, we're doing themes. For some reason, this is themed. We're going 70s, and this week we're doing 80s. Next week, 90s. Week after that, the 2000s. So we're in the 80s, 1984, A Nightmare on Elm Street, written and directed by Wes Craven. And we're doing 20 seconds here, guys.
20 seconds.
And,
20 seconds.
Lightning round.
Lightning round. TC's up first.
All right.
Go, TC.
What do you got?
So I think I respect this movie more than I liked it. It didn't hold up so well, but man, there's some really good special effects in there, and there are some really cool practical things that they did that I don't think I've seen in a lot of other movies, especially during that time period. So yeah, I think overall I respect the movie. Would I ever watch it again now? No.
No. All right, I'll go next here, John. Yeah, I agree that the effects are amazing. It kind of, the movie would be good if it was just the special effects. I think the story is actually pretty good too. The acting, like, it all holds together well enough where it's kind of like a funhouse ride. And just the movie isn't that scary, but the ideas in it are actually scarier.
Yes.
Like when the movie's over, it's like it's scary then somehow.
Yeah.
That's 20 seconds.
Damn it, you guys both took my... I don't know what to say. Okay, hold on. I'll give you a timer. But
Effects and scary
great.
after?
Totally
Is that it?
agree with both okay. First, this has the greatest title of a horror movie ever. I think. Also, I think
I couldn't disagree.
The effects are good. The premise is awesome. The character is great. Some of the most ADR I think I've seen.
You've ever heard in your life. Right.
But
it's
it doesn't
okay.
hold up.
It's
no,
fine.
But again, the effects are good. The movie has it again. I like the idea of respecting it. It holds up well in certain parts.
Yes. Yep. You can't really go.
And the thing
you
is-
can't go against this one. I
No,
figured
no.
that
No.
out.
And when it
early
doesn't
on.
work, when the effects don't work, it's so campy and over the top that, like, it's just fun still. Like,
Yeah,
even the
right.
bad
Yeah,
effects,
yeah,
you're just
yeah.
like, oh, look at that. That's so
Yeah.
stupid. This is
I mean,
great.
like, you watch this and you understand why this created a franchise. It totally makes sense. Like
Yes.
it's like, yeah. I mean, they did. He has the dreams. He has the knife hands. The idea with the nightmares is so good that just creates like infinite possibilities about whatever you want to do with the character. It's so
And just coming off
great.
Inception, this movie does the dream shit so much better than
Fucking
Inception because it's
right.
I mean,
actually
that's so
dreamlike.
true.
Right. It's so
Right.
dreamlike in
Yeah.
this movie.
It works,
it's amazing.
right? Well, they didn't
And
try
they
to
use
go,
some
yeah.
cool stuff, like even the simple idea of like him scraping his metal claw against a pipe in the dream to create the sound, and like
Right.
that sound then comes back multiple times throughout the movie as like the
Yeah, it's perfect,
here he
yeah.
comes. I mean, they
It
do
is-
that
it-
really
yeah.
well, really
Or
well.
even it's like the dream allows them to do whatever weird shit they want to do. Like, in this scene, he's got weirdly long arms. Cool.
They start off with that when you're like, okay, there's no rules here. This is actually
Right.
like a dream.
Right. And that's what's kind of awesome about it. And it makes sense within the context, unlike fucking Inception. Like,
Yeah, they don't have to
this
explain
all-
the rules. They're just
No.
like, it's a dream. And we're like, I got it.
Yeah,
Anything
that's right.
can happen.
Exactly. Exactly. That's all you need
no,
to
but
do.
you're not
baby.
a level
You-
deep enough to understand it. John.
That's
the issue.
right. We got to go deeper.
We got to incept Freddy. Got to strap him down, put one of those
Put
wristbands
Freddy
on him.
to
And I
sleep,
have
then-
to say, the
That's
boiler room. Who isn't afraid of a boiler room? I've never really been in one. I don't know about you two, but I've seen it on TV my entire life. And I'll
Right.
tell you now, that was a scary. It's like such a good way to open up the film. I was like, oh
Yep.
fuck, the boiler
as
room.
far as
No
far
one
as
loves
a
this.
horror
This
movie
sucks.
premise, like that, this has to be second to almost none that I can think of in terms of the character,
It's-
the
I
setting,
think it's the most creative.
the title. Yeah,
Just the general premise is the most creative in what it
Yeah,
does with
yeah.
it. It's pretty crazy that it packs it all in an hour and a half.
right. The nursery rhyme is awesome. Like that's a great way. Although they don't really reflect on that too much, but I love this idea that they're creating this idea of this guy's already a myth. He's already a legend, kind of, where the kids sing songs about him, and I like it. It's
You
And
like
the
it. I like it too.
And just like the drunk mom.
Yeah, drunk mom.
Yeah,
Drunk mom.
Drunk, but
what a
sympathetic.
character
hiding
she
bottles
was.
of vodka around
Right,
the
yeah,
house.
yeah.
And
again,
they're frosted bottles of vodka.
Right, it's
too,
annoying.
yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if real alcoholics just do that. You know,
And she hid the big bottles every time. It wasn't like, let's take a little one and like put it in the couch.
No, it's
it
the
was like a
Costco
fucking
bottles.
2-liter bottle. We're going to hide it in with the towel.
In the towels at the top. What the fuck? They're gonna find that.
I don't know, man.
Oh, man.
But
those are
I
some
like
of the
that.
moments where I just laughed.
Yeah.
Out, like you just laugh at that. You can't even.
You see where their argument, she's like, Mom, stop drinking. And at the end of the argument, she picks up the bottle and you're
Right.
like, oh, that's so cheesy.
But I mean, I do like that the movie still doesn't, it doesn't make these characters villains. Even the drunk mom isn't a villain. I also think that is kind of shows some level of sophistication in terms of the character. They're not like just trying to make her bad. She's drunk mom, yeah, but she's got problems or whatever, I mean, they're still like showing,
And she's
they're
also
trying.
been
I mean,
affected by Freddie. So
right. It's a little clunky, right? But they're
start to
showing-
feel
but-
for
but
a
it's
little
there.
bit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's
I
all
like
just
that.
there to make the Nancy character more independent.
Yeah,
And
that's fair.
it works like better
Yeah.
than fine, right?
Right,
'Cause, I mean,
right. Good point, Denny. Like it serves its purpose, right? She can't be protected by her parents. Dad's off being cop, mom's drunk, so she's all on her own. And
Dad doesn't believe her,
Right,
like,
right.
I mean,
doesn't even
they
listen to
do.
her. She's like, I'm trapped in the fucking house.
I
Come in
felt
20
for
minutes.
him too. When she called and she's like, "You got to come in 20 minutes," I'd be like, "Get the fuck, go to bed, go to bed, and shut it." All right, I'll see you in the morning.
No way. Two of her
Right?
friends just died. Maybe, no, three of her friends just died, and she's having a mental breakdown. You should fucking take care of that girl.
Yeah,
Jesus
no
Christ,
kidding.
don't
I'm
ignore
not
her.
a dad.
Leave. You're not gonna be
This
like,
is why I'm
uh-oh.
not a dad. I'd be like, get over yourself. You're fine. You're fine. Right?
She's fine. She'll get over it. Everyone
People
she knows
die
is dead.
all the
It's
time.
totally fine.
You're still
It's
alive
not
and
weird that
lucky.
all of her friends have just died. It's just weird tragedy. What can you do? Life's tough.
I appreciate again, spoilers, I guess, for this old movie. I
No,
don't
it
know,
is nothing to
but,
See
spoil
it.
here.
Absolutely
But-
see it.
But I really
Right?
appreciate.
That's the thing.
I'm glad I saw it because I had
Yeah.
never seen it growing
No.
up. And to be honest, I thought this movie was called Freddy. So this whole time, I thought I was going about my day being like, "Oh yeah, Freddy. I've seen Freddy.
Freddy?
I thought about Freddy. Yeah, no
I'm
clue
so
that
glad
it was
I
called A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
Couldn't.
Oh no
When
way!
you guys
I mean,
were
to go
watching
back,
Nightmare on Elm
I-
Street, I was like, "Oh okay," and then I looked it up and I was like, "Oh, Freddy. Oh, I thought the movie was called Freddy. That's weird."
they
All right.
totally could have called this Freddy, but I love the title Nightmare on Elm Street. It's such an awesome title. I don't know why.
was.
The word Elm
Because it sounds
is
like a
really cool
legend.
word. Right.
It
I guess
already
so.
has like a legend type of feel to it, or
Right,
like a
it really-
folk tale or
it-
something.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know how it works that way, but it totally does. The word elm is really sort of almost a creepy word in there. It makes it feel like it's happening in your neighborhood, happening somewhere where it could happen anywhere, right? So it's like it's suburban, right? I guess. So it is a really fucking awesome title. I think. I mean, I don't know who decided. I'd be interesting if they talked about alternative titles for the film, like who came up with that. Because it really
They talked
could've
about
called
some
it
random
anything.
bullshit on the commentary tracks, and that
did
was
they?
not one of them.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
They talked a lot about
you
like
said,
sharing
TC, they could've
costumes
called it,
and stuff.
Oh yeah, they could have called it Freddy, and you're right.
Freddy.
And it wouldn't have been
I
really
grew up
nearly.
thinking this was Freddy. I
This
didn't
is
watch
Freddy.
it when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I didn't,
it's
my mom
Freddy. You
didn't
got
let me.
Freddy. You got Freddy Part 2, Freddy Part 3.
Yeah, right.
Wait, so TC, had you seen this before?
No.
You hadn't seen it.
I've only heard about this. I mean, I've never seen a bed open up with a hole and then spew blood. I've never
Fountain
seen
of blood was
That was
impressive.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
was
never seen
impressive.
a bed just go into a blue mist and then turn back to
and
normal.
absorb a corpse.
I mean, they did a good job on that one, I thought.
Yeah.
For the
There's
84.
amazing effects in this
Yeah,
movie. Like
for
every single
1984.
scene has at least one effect that like sticks in your head. Like they're the best effects you see in these horror movies, and they're all crammed into this movie, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So I
It
know
makes
I had
me
never
think-
seen
yeah.
it, Danny, and so I'm glad I did. So you're right. So see it. I don't know if I'd watch it again. Certainly not going to show kids this.
Well, no.
No.
It's kind of fun. It's on like the lighter side of horror.
Hey, don't worry about this,
Yeah, I
Timmy. It's
wasn't-
going to be all right. He's Freddy.
I was.
He's a
I
good
didn't
guy.
find it scary just because of the. I don't know. I didn't find it too scary. But I would have at the time. My God, I mean, when young teenage me would have been pretty fucking freaked out by this.
I don't know. I mean, we're different
Maybe.
people, but I saw this pretty young, and
Yes, we are different people,
I
Denny.
loved it.
Yeah,
but it didn't scare
Denny,
me.
you're a fucked up guy. You know?
Denny, you're very
Wait, how do you
different
think I am? It's because I watched these movies when I was younger. It didn't
Different
scare
people
me. I loved them.
is really
We're
is sort of
different people.
mildly
Just
putting it.
stating that fact there for a minute. We
I'm
are
just saying,
different people.
with my experience as a younger person who had seen this movie, it wasn't
Right.
scary to me then, and movies did scare me back then. So, like,
Yeah.
this one,
Wait,
there's something
like,
about
so-
it.
Well, you're right. It's still maybe
It's fun.
Maybe it
It's
is
too
more
fun.
campy than like say Aliens or Alien.
Right.
Right.
There's no dread in this movie.
There's no seriousness to it in a way that this one. I don't know why not.
I mean, even the way he chases her in the first scene, he's just like, he's like
Hey,
Kermit
how's
the
it
Frog
going? I'm
chasing her.
Freddy. Yeah, right.
It's kind of
that's fair.
funny. Like,
It is.
she's covered in blood
Yeah.
at the end, but like, it's kind of funny the way he does it.
But I remember specifically not being scared to watch this film, and I didn't when I was younger because the Nightmare on Elm Street and the cover, the sort of poster looks terrifying with the knives and the thank you. So I didn't, but I did watch Aliens, and that was probably like traumatizing for me when I was little. But yeah, this one, you're right. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Even then, the campiness. I thought it just didn't age well in that sense. But maybe it was there even back then.
I don't know.
Hard to say. Yeah, because like
1984.
some
Go
of the
either way.
effects, some of the effects looked really good. Some of them looked really bad, and it was kind of really all over the place.
The stretching of the wall, when the wall did the stretching
That
of the
was pretty
face,
good.
that was fantastic.
That's
And-
one of the best horror movie images ever.
Yes,
is
yeah.
that it's amazing. The shot where the dead girl's in a body bag and there's eels pouring out of the bottom of it.
Ooh.
Also,
That's
also
amazing.
Good. Fountain
Still
of
looks
blood,
great.
good.
It doesn't age. If you use real eels, it doesn't age. That's the trick.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, I guess
you
you're
had
right.
the eel wrangler there. I'm Eddie, Eddie the eel wrangler.
You actually flip a room upside down and you dump 500 gallons of blood out the middle of a bed.
Blood fountain.
That's not going to age.
Was
No,
that,
no,
was,
that
that,
was good.
was that what happened? Is that how they did
Yeah.
it?
They built a set. Like this movie, there's a bunch of trivia on this, and it's all pretty awesome.
But they
because this
built it
movie was
upside down.
extremely- Well, no, they built a spinning
right
one,
side
just
up
like
and then
Inception.
spun it. And- yeah, right.
Yeah, because the scene earlier on where the blonde girl, the friend, gets killed and she's rolling up the walls and on the ceiling, they're rotating the room, and the boyfriend's in the shot with the camera strapped down behind him. They glued his hair down basically, and they're rotating the room with him like dangling upside down and all the
God
shit
damn.
connected to this
Wow.
box as it rotates, and she's just like rolling across the room as the floor changes.
It was a good,
Wow.
good scene, man.
That's
Yeah,
great.
It worked
That's
well.
amazing.
Shit.
Especially back then. That's like really forward thinking.
Especially with the budget. Yeah, I mean, this budget was
How much was the budget?
$1.8 million.
That's it? Holy.
This movie was scrapped together. People worked for almost nothing. The special effects guy had a budget of $57,000 of that
Jesus.
$1.8
Even
million.
for the 80s, this was like cheap, right?
Yeah.
Was that
This
all
movie
spent
almost
on
didn't get
blood
made.
or what? I mean, Jesus
Well, the guy
Christ.
figured out ways to do it for cheap. Like the scene where the arms were stretched out, they borrowed 2 fishing poles and they made like paper mache arms. And when
They had
were
to
filming
borrow
it-
the fishing poles. They couldn't
Yeah, they
afford
were
to
just like,
fucking
you guys got
buy the
fishing
fishing
poles?
poles.
Yeah, I got fishing poles. Why would you buy them, John? Someone else has them. It's
Right,
a waste of
that's
fishing
true.
poles if you buy
That's
them.
true. It's a waste of budget. You don't need to buy them.
If you're using fishing poles, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel anyway.
Goddamn,
That's a
yeah.
good
So we
point,
can't even
Danny.
buy fishing poles, so we got to go borrow them. Shit.
So can we rent a crane to do this special effect?
No.
Okay, we're gonna borrow some fishing poles then.
Fishing
Okay,
poles,
sounds good.
man. Gotcha.
But like a lot of it was like that. They bought like the special effect we just talked about with when the face pushing through the thing. They just went to a Target. Spandex was like, it wasn't Target, but whatever convenience store was around back then. Spandex was a pretty new material back then. The special effects guy heard about it. They bought a sheet of it in this color and they just put it up and lit it. It was just spandex.
goddamn.
They spent like $50 at a Walmart or whatever the equivalent is. And
Just
that's how
have
they
them
got
go
that
through
special
They
Spandex,
effect.
just
right.
overlaid it in that one spot.
Yeah, probably had a lot of that lying around with all that like fitness craze. Jazzercise was a thing in the 80s, maybe, So,
I mean, it's
cool.
a lot
I mean,
of
it
just
was
like
all-
broadcast television tricks,
That's awesome.
overlaying
That's kinda-
one video over the other.
Yeah.
And,
Because I
And
would
there's actually a
have
cut there.
thought you could have told me that they had a shitload of money and they blew it on special effects or practical effects, and I would have
oh
believed
yeah,
you.
I would have never have guessed otherwise.
It was basically one special effects guy and Wes Craven, and Wes Craven came up with a bunch of ideas, and he learned throughout the production to not let the producers to hear about his ideas because they'd be like, dude, we
What?
can't afford that. Don't worry about it. So he just grabbed the special effects guy, tell him an idea, and the effects guy would somehow figure it out. And do it.
You got to do this, and you got $10.
Yeah. And this special effect guy had a good career after this, but at the time, he worked for almost nothing because he needed a job, and he thought this was a good opportunity to like get his name out there and stuff.
He was right.
So I mean, he's the special effect guy. Big credit for how this movie turned out.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
A lot of things fell into place for this movie, but there's a lot of trivia. We don't have to get stuck on it now. I don't know. Is there anything else in the movie portion of it? Have you guys seen any of the sequels? Are you aware, TC,
No.
that there are 9 movies in this franchise?
No, not. I mean, there's like I've seen the third one, Dream Warriors, which is weird. They go and fight
that the
in
fourth
there.
one?
Is that the third one? I thought that was the third one. Was Dream Warriors?
You could be right.
I
think
only
I'm
saw
right.
them because I saw when I searched. Like when I searched
There-
for
there-
Nightmare
there
on
was-
Elm
there-
Street, and
yeah.
I saw
Oh,
like
yeah. Oh,
10
yeah.
other hero images.
There was
of
like
these,
the only other one I think I
movies.
saw was the Wes Craven's Nightmare one, which got like a lot of critical buzz when that came
The
out.
new Nightmare?
which is like a documentary-ish style thing.
No, it was
about
like the actor who played Nancy. Freddie was coming back and haunting her, and actually he
Right.
started haunting the actor instead of the
right.
character.
So it was a little.
That was pretty
there's
good.
a little, like reality blending in, which I remember that being kind of interesting. But otherwise, I don't think I didn't see 2. I saw the Dream Warriors one, whichever one that was. Maybe it's 4.
It's 3. You're right. So,
3, okay.
so weirdly enough, John, those are the 3 I have seen. Well, I've also seen Freddy vs. Jason, which apparently they count in this list.
Oh my god!
I saw that one too.
That would be interesting.
Was
That-
it good or bad?
Was a good one.
Oh, was it?
That
Like
one was
King
over
Kong
the top,
Godzilla
campy as
good,
fuck.
or like
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like
there you go.
it's-
You're right.
It has
Exactly.
like a,
There you go.
yeah.
They, like-
There's a scene where there's like a bunch of teenagers at like a bonfire party, and then like they're all getting killed separately by the 2 different guys, and they're like the Jason and Freddy are trying to like compete on who can kill the most teenagers.
Oh,
sort
that's
of thing.
kind of good. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. It's a competition.
And they fight each other at the end. You know,
All right.
hand-to-hand
Who win-
combat. Like it's
who
pretty,
wins?
pretty
I
stupid.
might throw that on. Honestly,
neither
that
is going to
sounds-
be allowed to win. These are 2 franchises. You can't kill
Oh,
one. Or
can
the
I
other. don't
spoil
know.
the end for you? You
I
probably don't want it.
Yeah, please do. I mean, I'm not going
TC,
to watch.
you
Become
care?
friends.
Spoiler: Freddy versus Jason. Jason wins, cuts Freddy's head off, but the last shot, this is just from my memory, one of the last shots is Freddy's severed head in the camera, smiling actively like he's still
He's
alive.
still
Right.
alive.
He's
Right. 'cause
fine.
You
Yeah.
can't kill him. His face falls off.
Can't kill
right?
him. Yeah.
He's in your dreams. He's a level
That's
2
right.
deep.
You can't. Again, you can't kill your franchises. They're both. Yeah, they gotta be equal.
Well,
in
but
I know.
look what they did with Kong and Godzilla. They're making them buddies.
Yep, that's right.
You know, it's a happy ending.
It's like I like killing teenagers. I
Freddie
like
and
killing
Jason
teenagers.
just riding
Just-
off into the sunset together,
Yeah.
going to kill.
We don't need to compete.
They
There's
gotta give,
plenty, there's plenty of teenagers for all of us.
They don't even need to add the metal arm. Freddy's already got that. You know, he's good.
That's true.
Well, he'll show up with the fishing poles. So
Did you guys notice what movie was Nancy watching? I think Nancy was watching it in her bedroom. They showed like a movie being played.
They're
screaming going
What
on
was it?
and-
What was it?
no,
The Evil Dead.
Oh, was
awesome.
it?
Oh,
Oh,
that's
wow.
It
good.
was The Evil Dead.
Well, perfect.
very
then.
I
relevant.
mean, the
to us.
Evil Dead is like the most influential horror movie ever.
Mm.
Maybe besides The Exorcist, but probably The Evil Dead. It's easier to replicate The Evil Dead than it is The Exorcist because you need to have like good drama and acting in
But
The
not
Exorcist.
only is it great, it's a bunch of upstart, scrappy guys just doing what they love. So you can imagine anybody else who wants to do a horror film is going to love that film, right, and be influenced by it because it's
Well,
kind of like
that's
they're
not
like it's like the Beatles or something. It's like
I
they're-
agree, but that's not Wes Craven. Wes Craven actually he grew up super religious. Should we just hop into trivia and
What?
stuff? to
Yeah,
come
why
up?
not?
Sound,
'Cause I don't have
sound
too
good.
much else. Yeah.
So there was
religious,
some,
like
some
like
really
what
good,
kind of religious? Like Christian, like evangelist, Mormon. What was he?
is Presbyterian? Is that
Presbyterian, okay.
something?
That is a thing.
Let's see.
Yes, you're right. Good job.
Was he that though?
Oh, you just words coming in your head and you just say
I'm
them?
just guessing religions. Yeah,
Baptist, Methodist.
strict Baptist. There you go.
Okay, there you go.
What does
So
that
he was
mean?
raised. It means he wasn't allowed to watch movies until he left his home for college. He'd literally never
Damn.
seen movies. He didn't know anything about them. He had no interest in them. But when he was in college, he actually got into like some art house foreign movies. Like Fellini was his favorite director for a while.
Wow.
He was writing a lot of poetry and got into working on movies as a crew member. And he did some editing too. And one of the guys on these low budget production sets saw some promise in him and was like, "Hey man, would you like to make a movie?" He's like, "I know some guys with money that if you wrote a horror movie script, we could maybe make a movie. Like they'd fund it."
Damn,
It'd be
really?
good." Wes Craven had no interest in horror movies whatsoever. But the guy was like, "If you
But
write
that
a
was
horror
like
script,
that's your entry point. You do horror,
That's your
you
entry
can
point.
get in there, right?
yeah." Because this is after The Evil Dead. So, like, that's how the industry
Right,
was.
right.
It's like you give somebody, a little bit of money. Maybe they'll make you $10 million, $100 million.
But you do a
who
horror
knows?
movie that'll have a niche audience. You can get a whole lot of buzz by doing a horror
Ride those
film,
coattails
right?
all the way to the top.
Yep. So then he did. He wrote The Last House on the Left, and that was a hit.
Yeah.
And then they told him do it again.
That
so
one had like some. That one was at some point we probably should watch that one.
Yeah,
like that one's
people
a classic,
freaked
right?
out. That
Right.
movie upset people so much they broke into projector rooms and tried to destroy the film.
Whoa.
That's how friggin' pissed off that movie made people. And that story makes you want to watch it more, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does.
definitely.
That absolutely does.
Yeah.
100%.
So that's how the people reacted. Everyone, that was willing to see something messed up was like, hell yeah, I got to see this. This is the new standard.
This is-
And then after that movie, he tried for 5 years to make a different kind of genre movie unsuccessfully. So then he just kind of gave in and started doing a bunch of horror movies. This one, Nightmare on Elm Street, he did like a TV movie and like a low budget one or something back to back. So then he made enough money to have 6 months off. Spent all 6 months writing the screenplay to this movie, which the way he said it made it sound like that was a long time for him, given the type of movies he was doing. Did I say that he did the first movie in 3 days? He wrote the script in 3 days?
Wow.
No, for Last House on the Left, 3 days.
Yeah, never written a horror movie, no
Jeez.
interest in horror movie, wrote the script for that movie in 3 days.
Is he resentful that like he's like forced to write horror films? Like, is he okay
he's
about
into it
that?
now.
Okay. 'Cause
Makes him
I
all
just
the money.
imagine when he's like, I'm a poet. No, I don't want to
It's
write
gotta
horror
be-
films.
I mean, it's so weird that like you have all these people who love horror movies that try to get into filmmaking that think that loving the movies like Tarantino does
Will be
would
enough,
make you
right?
better at filmmaking. This guy's
Doesn't
just like,
always, yeah.
I like Fellini. I'm an art house snob.
Right,
Let's make
right,
some
right.
fucking violent ass horror movies with some weird ideas and make a ton of money. Why not?
Yeah.
But he's not resentful. He likes his career. He's proud of the stuff he does. So yeah, it's not like he's no negative energy there. He
Oh,
just
yeah, that's
kind of
good.
at one
I
point in
mean,
time wanted his career to go
Well, sure.
in a more diverse
yeah.
direction than it
Right.
went.
It's just interesting that he's like, it's like the idea that's like, no, this is just what you're really good at, dude. You just need to go back to that.
Yeah. So random. Just like there's so much lucky shit that happens to people in every industry, but in Hollywood specifically, because as we get into this movie almost didn't get made in a real sense so many times, including a week before they were supposed to release it into theaters. After
damn,
everything
really?
had been done, after the cut had been there, after they've done like a festival tour, they didn't have enough money to pay the print shop, basically the chemistry lab that prints the films. They held it hostage, being like, pay us now.
Damn.
And they're like, we don't have any fucking money.
We're like, we
Please give us the
gotta
thing."
have people buy tickets first. What do you mean?
And they're like, that's not my problem. You got to get me the cash. So they had their producer guy, seemed like a very nice guy that probably is lucky he didn't have a heart attack while making this movie. He's like, people say making movies is hard, but something that's way harder than that is getting money to make low budget movies. That's way harder. And from the sounds of it, this one was. Yeah.
But like,
So-
but after this one, then his career is set, right? I mean, this one just
The producer,
off,
yeah,
I
and Wes
imagine.
Craven. Yeah, this movie
Everybody.
was huge.
like everybody involved in this, I imagine, like the special effects guy, Wes Craven. It's like they're done now. Now they've made it, right?
Yeah. And the weird thing is, the second one wasn't the second Friday, or not the Friday. I keep confusing these ones.
It's like a,
Nightmare on Elm Street didn't
yeah.
have the Nancy character in it.
Ah.
She's only in 2 of the other ones, which is weird. You'd think she'd want to be in like every single one of these things.
Yeah,
But-
maybe she was wanting to be an actor and wanted to, again, like Wes, wanted this to not define her, but it ends up defining her whole career. Like she has documentaries and stuff all about.
She
just
loves
her.
talking about it. She was on
Yeah.
both. There's 2 commentary tracks and making of documentary with this movie.
Yeah.
She was on all of them, and she loves talking about it.
Nice.
It's like, that's great. It's great to hear that people aren't like resentful that.
No,
you
but
know.
at the time, maybe she was like, "Well, okay, I did that, but now I want to do, I don't want to do horror." Just like Wes.
No, she's
like,
she's
I don't know.
appreciative because like being an actress at this time, she didn't think she had a shot of being like anybody famous.
Oh, okay.
And the fact that this movie blew up, she's just like, hell yeah!
All right.
I never thought this was going to happen.
I got this.
This
I'll
is sweet.
Do whatever. I'll
Yeah.
go on the Comic-Con circuit. And whatever.
It's a good way to live.
Yeah.
You know. Otherwise, you're just never satisfied.
Sorry.
You kill yourself with an ulcer. You know, that sort of thing.
So that's how me and John are living, Denny. Don't bring us down, okay?
It's okay. You can choose to live however you want. That's fine.
Still reaching for something, man.
I think that person is definitely resentful and they hate their lives because they got stuck doing horror. All right? How does that make you
I
feel,
don't know.
John? Is that better?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I want some resentment here. Makes me feel better about myself.
Right, yeah. Nope, just turns out they're all happy to have had done something.
Hey, that's good. That's actually good to hear.
So this movie came from, he started getting into some real ugly news stories. He was reading about all the atrocities that happened under Pol Pot in Southeast Asia.
Oh, wow.
And there was 3 stories specifically. The first one he found, he thought was pretty weird, that people died in their sleep while having nightmares. Like, I don't know how they know they were having nightmares, but people died in their sleep, and they wrote stories about it. The third one he found was this one person. These are all kind of concentration camp and relocation survivors having, terrible nightmares.
Oh, geez.
For obvious reasons. But the third one had recurring nightmares, and he was trying to tell everyone that someone was coming after him in his nightmares, and he wouldn't go to sleep. He was taking sleeping pills. He had a pot of coffee hidden underneath his bed. And his entire family was like, dude, I can't take this. This is fucking aggravating. This guy needs to go to sleep. And eventually, after like a couple of days of this guy being awake, maybe a few days, I forget, but he finally fell asleep. Everyone relaxed. He woke up in the middle of the night screaming, and he died from just like a heart attack or something like that. So then Wes Craven read the story, and he's like, that's a movie. I can make a movie out of that story and create this whole like fantasy land about what if that was real? What if the guy was really being haunted by something?
Damn.
Good idea to take that story, because it's a pretty freaky idea.
Yeah.
The name Freddy came from a bully in Wes Craven's childhood. He used to get beat up by a guy named Freddy.
What?
Freddy.
Oh, really?
Here comes Freddy. Watch out. Put your lunch away.
Wonder how that Freddy feels. So the producers thought that this would get a lot of love, but once the screenplay was written and everyone in their immediate circle thought it was good, they first shopped it around all the big Hollywood names. Nobody took it up. They thought it was too risky, too weird. They went to New Line Cinema, which at the time was a really small production company. And that dude is the guy who spent, he put all of his own money in. He took out as much credit he could take out. He went to these companies to try to like beg for money, basically. He asked his family and friends, just like every single thing he could do. And the biggest investor he could find was a company that invested $1 million for a large share of the money. And then, what was it? 2 weeks before the production was going to start, they pulled out.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah. So then the guy had to run around and start like asking favors from a bunch of other people, get a lot more loans, and then he went back to this company and like reconvinced them to fund them, which they in the end did, but production had already started, so people were working without pay for days, or like without knowing where their pay was. One of the line producers took out his credit card and maxed out all of his cards just to pay all the cast and crew a reduced rate, just so people could like survive during the first couple of weeks of shoot of this movie.
Damn, that sucks.
So it was everyone taking everything they owned and throwing it into this still pretty low budget movie, risking it all on, he's not an unknown director at this point. He's made 2 horror classics. So, like, it's kind of weird that they hit such resistance with this movie, but they did. So, they pushed through. Everyone thought it was going to be great, especially once they started shooting and they were getting all these special effects shots that weren't necessarily in the script. They were being like, Wes was making them up on the spot with the special effects guy. Mm-hmm. People were like, this is fucking crazy. Like, there's shit in here that's I've never seen before. This is going to look great. Despite being scared a lot of the time, because some of the blades they had different hands for Freddy. Some of them had real blades on them just because they looked good in camera close-ups. One of those shots included the one where they stuck the claw through Nancy's legs in the bathtub. Ooh. They had to be extra careful because they had her raw thighs and, everything else on the business end of those razor blades. And the guy was under the water. Like, all they did there was cut a hole in the bathtub and then build an extra tub underneath the bathtub. So there was space underneath that. If you watch the making of documentary, it's just a special effects guy sitting in the bathtub, like, just like breathing slowly and deeply and then going under. And then they hit roll and then like they do the shot. And like, she's sitting there, she's naked.
Wow, dude.
He's in the bathtub underneath, like 100% practical.
Like,
yep.
Nice.
Crazy.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. And that's a cool shot. It's iconic. And it's probably a couple $1,000s to build a tub under a bathtub.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
32-day shoot. They had a lot to do in 32 days. This is a $1.8 million movie, and the number of like effect shots, there were 80 effect shots. That's like at or surpassing most big budget movies with effect shots.
With the number,
they were the
They're
number.
still cheap effect shots, not
Cheap
expensive
effect shots.
right?
Yeah, but still, like they look, they want them to look good, right? So they're
yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's crazy because they do look good, most of them, but yeah. 80 effect shots. Where was I going with that one? Probably nowhere. That might have been it. That might have been all I had to say on that one. They built out that whole house set in a studio. It was 2 floors, so they could like run around and shoot everywhere, which that sounds kind of expensive. Sounds like that would cost more than $57,000, but apparently not. If you make it out of shitty wood, I guess you can do that pretty cheap.
So it's just cardboard.
Yeah.
I mean, with those flames, you got to worry though, right? Like they're just all going to go up.
Yeah, that was the at the time, and I don't know what has gone on longer than that, but at the time that was the longest flame stunt in movie history.
Oh, really?
Wow.
The plan was for him to run up the stairs and then lay down, and him coming back down the stairs was because the guy decided at the moment that he had more time in the suit and he wanted to make the shot awesome. So he just like kept running around in the suit, and everyone was just like, "Oh fuck! Oh fuck! What do we do?
Oh,
do we
good
ruin
for
the
you,
take?"
flame guy?
Yeah. And that guy was like, that's his specialty.
So
in
like
movies,
you said,
is
like
flames.
That was
But-
wild though. It was around all sorts of shit. There was like
Yeah.
furniture in the way and up and down stairs, and it was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But like you said, that then there was a sense around this film of people really thinking they had something good here, and so they were going to make an extra effort. Like they were like The Matrix had that too, right? People were going to like work hard for it. So I don't know, it's kind of cool.
No, definitely. Yeah. People, I mean, the actors were all really young. This is Johnny Depp's first movie. He was unknown. The only reason he was cast in this movie is because he was in like the final 3 for the selection of the boyfriend character. And Wes Craven's daughters got into the files of the people auditioning, and the 2 young girls who were like 10 at the time were just like, "You got to do Johnny Depp. He's really hot." And he's like,
"Oh,
okay.
nice. All right."
If my 10-year-old girls like Johnny Depp, that sounds like a pretty good way to judge who should be in this movie.
If there's anything.
Yeah. So who knows how Johnny Depp's career would have gone, but I mean, it's crazy to see his small role in kind of, he's good, but he doesn't stand out. The scene of him getting sucked into the bed is the best part of the movie that he's in.
That's true.
Basically.
But he's young. It's not like he's some great actor or anything, but he's just a young kid. It's just like, I don't know.
I think I agree. He definitely fits into the movie. But it's just weird thinking that he got super famous after this. Because it's not like a Jack Sparrow type of thing.
No, you're right. No,
he was very incidental most of the time.
He was nervous most of the time in this
really?
movie. Yeah, because he hadn't been in, this is literally the first movie he had ever done.
True.
Well, yeah.
And yeah.
Rookie.
He was the most nervous one out of all the kids. Part of the reason they picked Heather Langenkamp was that she was so easy in front of the camera, and she kind of exuded confidence and intelligence. So that was... Wes Craven really wanted her character to seem intelligent, like she could actually figure these things out by herself, especially because they home alone the house at the end, and you need to know some chemistry, I guess, to build some little light bombs or whatever the fuck she's building there. I mean, do you think this movie influenced Home Alone? I do. She does a fucking Home Alone at the end. This is like 10 years before Home Alone.
That's true.
It's pretty crazy.
Oh my God. I'm reading Johnny Depp's Wikipedia. And
of course, John reading the Wikipedia while I'm talking.
I was wondering about Depp. Yeah, I'm not listening as you're talking as usual, Denny.
It's okay, John. I'm used to it.
But I wanted to say, like, I'm just reading this. Like, he didn't come from like Hollywood or family or anything. He like moved to Los Angeles with his band. He was in a band when he was 20. And after the band split up, Depp's then wife, Lori Ann Allison, introduced him to actor Nicolas Cage. After they became drinking buddies, and Cage advised him to pursue acting. And
Best advice ever.
Right. And he'd been interested
Nicolas
in
Cage is a
acting.
fucking genius.
Cage helped Depp get an audition with Wes Craven for A Nightmare on Elm Street. And Depp, who had no acting experience, said he ended up acting by accident. Thanks in part to his catching the eye of Craven's daughter, Depp landed the role of the main character's boyfriend.
Fucking Hollywood.
Right?
That shit is random as hell.
Everyone. Yeah.
I know.
Honestly.
Thank you. So Nick Cage.
The guy didn't even have to fucking try. He just rolled out of bed and was like, I'm going to be an actor now. And they were like, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, your face is nice. Let's put it up on the big screen. What do you say?
What the fuck, man? That's just annoying, isn't it? It's annoying.
The thing is, it's kind of fun though. It's like random shit can happen. It's annoying for all the people trying really hard and honing their craft. This guy just rolls in because it's like 10-year-old girls like him, and he's like, "I'm a fucking famous movie star now."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's what sells though. And he ended up being a pretty decent actor too. So like,
I know.
It
happens.
Certainly, he's not
He
trash.
had plenty of years of practice, you know?
yeah, got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it only took 3 hours to get Freddy in his makeup. There were 11 different layers in the masks.
Jesus.
Multiple
Holy
masks.
shit.
Just 1, 2, 3. And it was a bunch of glue and stuff. And by the end of the shoot, 32-day shoot, what's his name?
Robert Englund.
Robert Englund's. His skin was getting really raw because they didn't have the high quality glue. They were just gluing it onto his face.
Like fucking Elmer's.
I'm going to go to
Super or
CVS and
whatever.
get the rest of the fucking packs.
We can't afford the Elmer's. We're going with the Costco brand or
Right.
whatever. It's a CVS brand. So that was that. They actually they had a lot of outtake shots. They let Freddy kind of run his mouth a bunch of times, but they wanted to keep it suspenseful. And in the editing room, they said the hardest thing was to figure out how much they wanted to show Freddy, because they could have showed him a lot. Like they had a lot of footage of him, but they wanted to keep it minimal because they wanted your imagination to kind of run wild with it.
Yeah, they
and
want
as
him-
TC was mentioning, like they used the sound effects. Like once they kind of grounded you, like with this is what's making the sound effect, then they could remove from showing him, keep you scared by using the sound effects by doing like the claws or his voice or his like laugh and stuff like that. They did that a lot to keep him off screen and to keep him
in the
scary.
back of your
if you
mind.
right.
How did they find him as Freddy? Do you know?
Yeah, they so there was auditions for it, and he just won the audition. Like he was in his car. He had done like some stage play acting and stuff like that. He's kind of a goofy guy. He's like a pretty friendly, and like the goofiness ends up being in the later iterations of Freddy and stuff. But like he was in his car. He dipped his finger in his cigarette ashtray thing, put circles around his eyes with cigarette ashes, like scary makeup, and then he just sat in the chair, in the audition chair, and stared at Wes Craven with like a crazy face on. And then he got the role.
Okay.
Hey, all right.
That's a hell of a way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And all the stuff with the claw and all the like the waving it around, like when he first got the claw, Wes actually helped kind of design that. His idea for like making it look homemade and all this stuff was all Wes's idea. But as soon as they made it and gave it to Robert Englund, he put it on and he did the wave with the hand. And that's like the first time you see him in the movie. And so like a lot of the stuff Robert created, like the movements and stuff like that. He said he wanted to be the vampire from Nosferatu, and what is the other guy's name? Some like Cagney, something Cagney.
Yeah.
He's like an old mobster character, Jimmy Cagney.
Well, there's a playfulness to him that comes through, which is kind of which is also scary and fun at the same time. Mm-hmm. Like Freddy is enjoying being Freddy. Like he's having a good time, right? Like being the evil guy, and that makes it kind of fun in a sense. Maybe that adds to the sense of sort of campiness too, and not.
And he doesn't
like
need to kill, right? And there's no time limit on it, so like there's no rush. There's no feeling of like a rushed pressure in the movie.
He's just gonna like enter your dreams and stay there for as long as he can.
Yeah,
as long as you
fuck with you. Yeah. So that's nice. Whenever movies like add a time constraint, it's just automatically more stressful. And this movie doesn't have that, which is nice. What else we got here? So yeah, the above the bathtub shots were like I said, just an extra tub underneath. When she gets pulled below, she's in a swimming pool, and they just put black plastic sheets everywhere else except for that one place on top of a swimming pool. Oh. And so she had access to the hole to go up and breathe, but everyone in the crew was underneath in scuba gear.
Nice. Really?
They thought they were gonna die. Wow. They were scared because that's fucking dangerous. They also thought they were gonna die during the scene where they were rotating the room because it was heavy furniture and low budget movie. Everyone knew it was low budget. Am I going to trust these guys? They built this box that spins, and they're just like screwing this heavy furniture on. They don't know what the fuck they're doing, man. There's no like structural engineer here. They're just like, I think it'll hold. But like it was heavy and it was a big room, and if the bed like fell, it would fucking destroy them. Like it might kill them, sort of thing. It didn't, which is nice.
Did anything break or no?
Did anything break?
Didn't sound like it.
No. Nothing broke. Everything went pretty smoothly. There was one injury on set. I forget which actor it was. I think it was the blonde friend who cut open her foot pretty badly during one of the takes.
Jesus.
And there was such a fast-paced schedule that they were just like, can we just shoot? Can we just keep shooting? And they're like, maybe, no. You should probably go to the hospital. So then she went to the hospital,
break. I don't
got
know.
stitches, immediately came back to set. So that's they considered just rolling with her foot bleeding. They're like, can we use it? No, this is probably dangerous. It's actually probably pretty dangerous to let that happen. But that was the only injury they mentioned or anything bad going wrong. All the special effects they mentioned were in the movie. I don't think they had time to cut anything from what it sounded like. So I think everything went pretty freaking smoothly, which is weird. Well, actually, the one thing that did happen is towards the end of the production, they were getting close. They were running out of money. They basically had no more money. There was one of his horror movie director friends came on and shot second unit for all these other shots that they didn't have yet. So basically, they doubled the production, the amount of production they were doing in the last week or so, the last few days, just so they could get done in time. And they actually gave the producer that worked so hard to do all this stuff came up with the idea himself. He had a dream when he was younger that he was walking up the stairs and his feet were being sinking into the stairs. So that was his idea.
Oh, nice.
And they gave him the director's seat for that scene because no one was available to do it. And they're just like, hey, this is your idea. You fucking do it. And he's like, okay,
awesome. Okay. I love it. And that was a good scene too. I loved it.
It
how
was.
They did it, right? It was really good.
It's very dreamlike. This movie gets so many points for being actually dreamlike. And so many other movies try to be like this and they just can't. Just random nonsense happens in this movie. And
but it works. But it doesn't feel like it's consistent. Because they set up the scenario so well, it doesn't feel inconsistent to do that. It's not like fucking Inception again, right? It's funny to do that after this.
I love how we're shitting on Inception
just
during
rage
this one.
on that for
you know,
months
you
on
don't watch
end
this film and be like, hey, you can't do that. It didn't make no sense. No, it works, right? Because they've set it up well enough, and it's fucking dreams. Anything can happen in your dreams, and the sense of they're you're still.
No one's like, why is this happening?
Right.
You're just like, oh, it's a fucking dream. We understand it. Stop questioning the logic of it. Stop explaining it to us.
You add to it. It's not just a dream. It's a nightmare. So in a nightmare, you're not powerful. In a nightmare, you're helpless, and that also works, right? So it's not like, oh, why can't she just imagine herself with knife arms or whatever? It doesn't work, right? So you're in a nightmare. So it works really well.
Another reason that the title, to go back to John's brilliant point, the title is brilliant. The title itself,
the title
it brands the movie. It gives the characters and scenarios weight.
One of the best film titles. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. I can't think of any other movie titles right now. I'm complete blank. Name one movie. Just name one other movie. I got nothing. Yeah. Nothing at all, guys. You guys have nothing either? That's okay.
Yeah.
Just brains don't work anymore.
Yeah, it's true. It is. It's already late.
So the ending of this movie was initially a happy ending. And it was a happy ending throughout.
I loved the way this movie ended. I was so happy that it ended the way it did. Yes.
The shot of the mother getting pulled through the tiny window has me laughing pretty fucking hard.
Yes.
It looks so fake.
I know.
It's so funny.
But I love
she goes through so fast.
The car with Freddy's sweater colors on the car.
And they all drive away screaming. It was pretty funny.
Yeah,
it's so stupid.
It is. It's stupid, but it's what else?
Are they in reality now? And he controls reality because she pulled him out. What the fuck's going on? It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, once he crossed over, that's when the movie kind of lost me at that point. I didn't care anymore. It didn't matter.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I don't know.
But it got me this time though when she woke up quietly in her bed and she's looking around. He's not there. She's like, "Oh, it didn't work." And then Freddy's just like, "Ah!" You're like, "Yeah, he's there."
Yeah, comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. The shot of him jumping through the mirror made me laugh pretty hard. I laughed a lot in this movie. There's just some ridiculous ideas that are just shoved into it. And you're like, okay, he was hiding in the closet with the mirror. That makes sense.
Yeah,
waiting for his opportunity to jump through the wall.
It's really nice, and again, maybe it was scarier in the 80s, maybe not. But if it wasn't, this was fun. This was entertaining. This is still scary at times, but it was just, I don't know. I don't know if there are many other. Evil Dead does this, actually. I think this is where Evil Dead does a good job too, where yeah, it's scary or whatever, but you're also just having a good time and laughing along the way, sort of. And so even while it's kind of scary, baby, you're still just being wildly entertained. And that was like, it's hard to hit those two notes at the same time. Like you might be fucking scary or you might be kind of funny or entertaining. And
because a lot of the time it ends up being stupid, and when a horror movie is stupid, then it's not funny and it's not scary,
right?
And that just doesn't work for anybody.
So how do you do both? But like Evil Dead does this. This one doesn't go for the comedy as much as Evil Dead does, but it still has that kind of sense of this is fun. Like Freddy's having a good time. We're sort of smirking.
The energy of the movie is pretty high. Like the editing is frantic.
The music
when the
is
action
ridiculous and 80s.
The music is amazing.
Industrial.
TC, did you like the music?
Yeah, no, I didn't mind it. Yeah, it was just 80s and industrial and like weird reverbs and weird clunks and clanks and
you know why? It's because they didn't have any money.
They had this composer. They were just making up noise.
They were fucking broke.
Like, they went to this composer they really liked who was established, but they knew him, so he was kind of one of their friends. They're like, hey man, got a new movie. Sorry to tell you, don't have much money. So what we want to do is do like all this horror stuff. And the guy's like, all right, we have no money, so we can't compose anything. We're not going to do any orchestras or anything like that. And he like budgeted it. And he was like, all right, in this budget, I can sit in my bedroom for this period of time and create music in my bedroom all digitally. And I'll sing and I'll do all the singing and I'll do all the music myself. And that's what I can offer you. And they're like, sounds good.
Wow. It's our only option. Thank you.
Yeah. And to me, as someone who loves these horror movies, this one is one of my favorite scores. Like it's super 80s. And 80s is fun because I don't know, it is the silliest decade of horror for the most part.
Yeah.
And they don't really
and music
and the music, like the music is iconic. Some of this type of music has started coming back more recently, which I like because it's a good decade. The 80s was good, but it won't match this level because they weren't trying to look back. And they don't have the tools they have now.
They were trying to do something, and they were broke, so they were
right. And it's like it's three notes, like or it's one note all the time. It's just like like that's the song it's playing the entire time. And I don't know, it works for the movie. It's great. This movie's fucking great, guys. This movie makes me happy.
It's not bad. Yep.
All right. So what else we got? So the happy ending. This movie had a happy ending written for the entire production of the movie. It was in the script. They filmed it thinking they were going to film the ending this way, which is where she wakes up, she stands outside her house with her mother, kind of like it is in the ending we saw. Then she just goes to school, and that's it. It was all a dream. She goes to school.
Like everything was a dream. So nobody died. No one died. No one
died. Everything was fake.
Oh,
happy
interesting.
ending.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they thought that was good. They ran with that until they started filming the ending because they, didn't think about it until they were just like, oh shit, this ending doesn't work. This isn't how Hollywood does it. What if we want a sequel? None of this works. So then they were tasked with creating new endings. And the first one, they were so much rewriting the ending as they were shooting it. They shot all of the alternate endings because they didn't know which one they wanted because they were running out of time.
Sure.
And this was the last thing they were doing. And they were like, literally, they had like a day or two to do this. So they shot a bunch of endings. And one of them, the first one they showed footage of, was where she gets in the car and Freddy's the driver. And Freddy is actually sitting in the driver's seat and he traps her in the car. Nancy's yelling for her mom. Mom doesn't listen. He drives her away. That's the end of the movie. They didn't like bringing Freddy back. So then they came up with the idea of eventually coming up with a car, like what ends up being in the film. They ran out of money. They were shooting against orders. They had the take of this basically a blow-up doll being ripped through the window as the last shot of the movie. They did it in one take, and everyone ran off set. They were just like, that's how much under the wire they were. They're like, got it, we're done. All right, everyone go home.
Wow. We got to get this in place. Let's get to the renting room. Right.
Like, that works. You're like, does that work? What the fuck about it? We're going home.
It was a great ending. I loved it. I thought it was perfect for the film. It fit the tone really well. Like
the worst special effects. Save it for the last
happy
shot.
ending would
Why
have been.
not?
It would have been deflating. The happy ending wouldn't have worked.
I know it would have not nearly as been as good. Especially because how do you do the franchise? Because part of the reason this movie is so lasting is because they keep making movies. And I'm actually I've seen two of the other ones. I was surprised at how different Freddy's character was from those ones because at least in Dream Warrior he's like silly. Like he's
Yeah.
a comedian almost.
Right,
He
right.
talks a lot and he's kind of funny. And in New Nightmare, he's not as funny, but like he still talks a lot more than he does in this movie. In this movie, he doesn't talk very much, which
Just grunt
is great.
for the most part.
Yeah, he does
Yeah.
do a lot. But he still looks like he's having fun. Like you still get an impression of him as a character, which is part of. I think it's part of what, like he's likable. That's weird to say, very weird to say. But there's this small amount of likability to him that then makes him like he's the star. The Nightmare on Elm Street films are kind of about him. It's about like just like Friday the 13th, I guess, is about Jason. But he is sort of like there's some funness about him.
That's weird. I don't know, because they mentioned he murdered 20 kids.
Well, yeah, right.
And as soon as it said that, I'm like, I don't care. Show me more Freddy.
Right, yeah.
For some reason, the way they deliver it,
focused on that.
hit.
You're right. If we were to put that starkly, it's like then it gets really uncomfortable.
And they actually toned it down in the original script. He molested 20 children.
Sure. Right.
So they toned it down to child murderer, which is an actual tone
which
down.
actually is better.
He just killed them. That is better, I guess. Weird. But yeah, it would have been. It's still implied. I don't know if they say pedophile at some point. Do they say that he? I don't think so.
In the special features, he called him a molester and a murderer. So that's what's in my head. So I don't know if they actually say it in the movie. I forget.
Right. But it seems strange that he's. There's no question he's the villain. But there is a funness about him, which is really. It's
because the way
strange.
the mother tells a story about Freddy is not well delivered in a way that like would be in a good dramatic movie, right? It's fine for the movie, it's good for the lore, and she's playing her campy character, which also fits in the movie. But like if that was done in a more serious way, it wouldn't have been as fun. probably. If you felt bad about that story when she was telling it, you wouldn't have been able to have fun later on.
There's almost this again with the nursery rhymes and this stuff. It's almost like this is a fairy tale, a folk tale. The boogeyman coming to get the kids, so there's a realness and an unrealness about it at the same time that doesn't make you take it too seriously. That you don't take it as real. You don't really think about the realness of him killing kids or whatever. It's more just sort of there's the idea of this that Freddy's going to get you, and there's a funness about it that doesn't. It walks this real fine line, I think, between being too serious, like, oh yeah, child molester or whatever, where it's like, okay, this is dark, this is no fun, right? So I don't know how. I mean, it just seems to walk that line really well, where you're not taking it that seriously, even though he's talking about, yeah, he killed kids. That's not where this movie is going. This is not what we focus on with him as a character. He's harassing teenagers in the way that you're supposed to do in like a horror film, right? You're supposed to go harass teenagers.
These are the rules.
And he's having a good time doing it. He's like, this is what I do. I harass teenagers. And I terrify them. That's what I do. That's my job, and I'm enjoying it. And you get to go along with that. So yeah, it's sort of like it's almost unnecessary to have the child element there, except I guess, but then it gives you your backstory and the mom and all of that.
Otherwise, there wouldn't be the nursery rhyme that people already know and all that stuff.
Well, it just makes the stakes high right off the bat.
Yeah, it does.
That's
right,
what it's there
but
for.
also just like then unquestionably he's the villain that was punished. So the parents had to kill him. That justifies their killing him. So it all
and it justifies his
there.
existence. He's not just like a ghost that lives in your brain. He was a human, so like it kind of makes it seem more realistic of a situation, a little bit.
Yeah,
even though kind of not. I don't know. It would have been weird if he was just like a ghost that haunted these people in his dreams.
Right. I mean, he didn't have any motive to haunt the kid.
Right.
He was haunting the kid because the mother killed him.
Yeah.
Right. And they shoved him in a furnace, and they had damn good reason to do it. So you want to make sure that you don't question that justification. So yeah.
No, everything checks. I mean, it really does.
Flawless masterpiece.
And you're basically sitting there going, hey, he got what he deserved, fuck him. And then you don't give a shit about the rest of it. And
then you're rooting for the teenagers to beat him. Like when she's trying to kill him in the house, you're like,
David and
hit him with a sledgehammer.
Right.
Throw him over the banister. Fuck that guy. That stunt guy almost got really fucked up on that stunt where it was the same guy in the fire. He fell backwards over the railing and landed on his head.
Oh, no shit.
Like, do you remember that shot when he gets like pushed over the railing and he falls on the stairs? Just real. Like those are all real stunts. All the stunts in this movie are real. It's all just like what you're seeing is there
It's
because they
happening
had
in
no
front of
way
you.
to do anything
Yep.
else.
Wow.
It was just there. Yeah, pretty crazy. What also was pretty weird. So Beetlejuice has 17 and a half minutes of screen time in the movie Beetlejuice, which seems kind of low for a movie where the title is, the name of the character.
Yeah.
Freddy's in this movie for 7 minutes.
Shit, really?
Yep. That's pretty crazy. His voice doesn't count with his voice and people thinking about him and stuff like that. Like he's on the screen and in scenes for 7 minutes of this movie.
Damn.
Wow.
That's
Pretty
it.
low.
Yeah, that is really
It
low.
wouldn't make a lot of sense, TC, if this movie was called Freddy, because that's way too low.
That's
You
true.
have a movie named after a character, you got to have at least 11 minutes, I think.
Well, luckily for me, I thought it was Freddy the entire time. So I'll probably continue to call it Freddy and not. And
Yeah, right.
Elm
Oh,
Street.
I watched Freddy this week. Freddy,
Hey, did you
yeah,
ever
Freddy.
watch
You
that
seen
movie,
one?
Freddy?
Just call it
Yeah,
Freddy.
you know,
Freddy
Freddy.
1, Freddy 2.
Yeah, he's got the
We
fucking
should
things
say-
like
so
Wolverine
the-
does. He kind of
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
around and fucks with kids in their dreams. He's Freddy.
He does. He's there. So we should say the stuntman's name is Anthony Cesare. Cecere. I don't know how to say his last name correctly, but we should give his name because the guy's
That's
a
true.
stud.
No,
Yeah, he is a
stunt guy.
stud.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And he was in the making of Feature too, and he seemed like a pretty nice guy. And he was just very, wasn't full of himself. He's just like, I love doing stunts.
He just went the extra mile here a
Yeah,
couple times.
seems like everyone did that with this movie. They somehow
yeah.
got a group of people that were like really dedicated, good at their jobs, hardworking, and willing to ride through the bumps. Like nobody
Yeah.
complained when they weren't getting paid. They didn't complain when bad things happened or things seemed scary or safety regulations seemed to not be existent, sort of thing.
Yeah,
They just all were like, "This is going to be good. Let's
This
do
is a
it."
long
It's
time
cool to
ago.
see
This is when
that.
Hollywood
Yeah.
was a different place.
No, but we saw this with the Matrix too. It's cool to see that. It's cool to it's I don't know. It's very inspiring to hear these stories of people thinking this is good. What we're doing here is good, and because I think it's good, I'm gonna whatever, do whatever, get paid less, work harder, whatever. And that's I don't know. It's just an inspiring story to hear.
It's like borderline fucked up, though.
But also the people that can
That's
accept
the
less
idea.
money
Because
already
that's what
have
people.
money.
Because that's how people
I
end
guess
up
it's-
falling into all
I guess
sorts
it's
of
fucked
shit.
up. But that's
You
the I don't know. I more in music or whatever too. Like the idea of believing that what you're doing is worth it is valuable, and so I'm gonna give more of myself because this.
It's one of the most meaningful things in life, John. Really, if you
I
want to
know.
put,
I love it. I
some
love the
weight
idea
on
of
it.
it, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know if it's art or music or whatever you're doing, but this idea that this means something, and so I don't care about the money.
certainly not podcasting. No,
No,
not
it's
podcasting.
certainly not podcasting.
Oh shit!
That is
Yeah,
definitely
right,
not
right.
something that's meaningful.
nah,
That's right.
This podcast. I'm going to
important,
stay up
guys.
till
Wouldn't it
10:30
guys, if,
talking.
we were good at art, but we're not. So we're just here talking like 40-year-old men about movies that
Don't.
we're
I'm
old
trying to say
now
something.
and like
I'm
everything
trying
is
to
old.
talk
and-
about inspiring shit, not
Remember how
depressing
we used
shit.
to be
So stop it.
inspired and we used to want to
Yeah,
do
right.
other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were good times. Those were good times. Yeah, right.
Watch me stay up till 10:30, and I hope people appreciate what I'm doing here because I'll be really cranky tomorrow.
You would have never made it as a rock star, John. Your bedtime's way too early.
I know. That's right.
That's true.
I'd give matinee shows. All right, gonna start at 1 o'clock, right? Maybe I'll do a 45
We're a
minute set
daytime
if you're
band.
lucky.
We
Yeah,
do
we're daytime.
weddings.
In the
and
middle
that's
of the
it.
show day. That's right.
Last piece of trivia I have is Heather Langenkamp beat out 200 other actors that came in for the role of Nancy.
Shit.
Three of them were Jennifer Grey, Demi Moore, and Courtney Cox.
Wow.
She beat them out, huh?
She beat them out.
All of which ended up being
How?
much
How
more
did
famous.
she beat them out? What did she do?
Wes Craven saw exactly what he wanted in her character, which was a combination of smarts, self-determined, self-reliance, and she the girl next door kind of look. Not full out beautiful, but very pretty and
but
normal.
yeah,
looking.
Yeah.
again, just suburban girl. Just that's fair.
Yeah. So she just fit all the things Wes was looking for. And also she was really comfortable in front of the camera and just basically was the perfect fit for what he was looking for. So
Nice.
Cool.
yeah. That's all I got, guys. Would you put this movie in the top 250?
Yes.
I would.
I
TC
think so,
would
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
This movie
Absolutely.
started so many things.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
just it friggin' influenced Home Alone. Come on, what other horror movie
influenced
influenced
all
Home
sorts of
Alone?
movies. You could see just from some of the practical gags they had. A lot of movies copied it. Scream copied it.
Yep.
Right? There's just
Yep.
so
Well,
many.
that's
of those.
Wes
that was
Craven,
also
though.
Wes
That's the
Craven.
same director.
Oh, that's right. That's true.
Yeah.
So-
I
Yeah,
forgot.
he
Well,
copied
you would
himself.
think he wouldn't copy it exactly, but it was pretty close.
Yeah.
We'll remove that part.
That's
But
why
yeah,
they copy. No,
you know.
Tease, that's good advice. If you're going to copy anybody, copy yourself because you're the
Yeah,
best.
That's right.
There you go. See,
You
that's
don't
why
love yourself.
we are on a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our parents treated us too nicely when we were children. Now we're on a podcast because we
Yeah.
didn't try hard enough.
Right.
Hey, speak for. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Are you saying you're not on a podcast right now, John? Are we questioning reality?
I'm on a
right now?
podcast. No, I know that. I just don't want to
Okay,
talk
good.
about my upbringing. That's all. I don't know.
Yeah.
The dementia
All right,
hasn't
with
set in
that-
fully yet.
With
That's
that
good.
note, we'll see you next time, guys.
That's right.
All right, what are we doing next week? We got
What are we doing,
next
Denny?
week.
Are we doing another
So
horror
next
film?
week, this is a lie to you guys. We're doing another horror film, kind of, if you want to call it that. Army of Darkness, because we're going into the 90s.
All right.
Now
We're
watch
switching
that.
back.
1992, Sam Raimi, trilogy ender. Now, figure since we did Evil Dead 2, might as well
Might
do
as
Army
well
of Darkness.
throw it on there.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds
All
good.
right.
Sounds good, guys.
See you
Talk to you
later.
then.
Yeah,
Bye.
see you later.